is immoral. It is sin. That's the biblical argument. And of course, you can expect that we shall look at it very seriously. And number 4, claims that it is not immoral. And this claim is made by Christians. But in fact, this claim is made by 2 groups of people. I want to be more categorical here. This claim is made by 2 groups of people. The first group may or may not be Christians, but they use, we call it the ethical argument. They subscribe to ethical relativity. Ethical relativity is a belief that ethics are not universal. What is good to me is not necessarily what's good to you. So my clothes, my dress, my choice, that's a question of ethical relativity. You cannot say that you are putting on a miniskirt and that miniskirt is wrong. I mean, which criteria are you using to say that the miniskirt is wrong? And what's a miniskirt? How short is a miniskirt, or how long is... So people conclude that ethics are relative. Ethics are relative. What is wrong to an American is not necessarily what is wrong to a Kenyan. So if a lesbian is not accepted in Africa, that is an African problem. If lesbians are accepted in America, well and good. Because which yardstick do we use to measure what is right and what is wrong? So they subscribe to ethical, and so we call that the ethical argument. And B, so 4 has got A and B. 4B, what I call the hermeneutical argument. This one is presented by Christians who believe that the Bible is not well interpreted when it is used to condemn these practices. That's the thing. In other words, a different interpretation of the Bible has to be embraced, which does not condemn LGBTQ. So that is the hermeneutical argument, and I'll spend some time there also, not today. How should we interpret the Bible so that we may understand precisely what is true according to the Bible? So that is the 4th approach that I will use. Now, I want to mention that if I have to do justice to all these approaches, 1 week is very short. So I will be picking here and there and emphasizing areas which I suspect is relevant to us as Christians. But of course, if you will have questions, today is just introduction. If you'll have questions, you will be sending me. You can send me questions based on what in others. But of course, my objective is that we on the question of LGBTQ. Now, for those of you who are generally acquainted with scripture, you will remember, and I'll read some, that when God creates in Genesis chapter 1, when God creates in Genesis chapter 1, he says it was good. For example, look at verse 10. And God called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters he called seas. And God saw that it was good. So God concludes that it was good. It means it was perfect. But when you reach 31, we read the Bible that if there is a great war between God and Satan, and a family Timothy says before time began.